Players figured out they could grab, shove, and hammer Clark without consequences, and the refs just kept swallowing.
It's a whole different reality when you step onto the court and get hit with the Caitlin Clark treatment, because suddenly it's not easy-peasy one-on-one basketball anymore. It's survival mode. No more coasting, no more highlight reel. Layups against lazy defense. This is the jungle of the WNBA, and only the strong survive. And last night, the mask slipped, the charade crumbled, and the so-called prophecy officially collapsed. The league and the media's desperate attempt to manufacture a next Caitlin Clark just detonated on live television. Paige Bueckers, the handpicked darling of ESPN and the mainstream hype machine, the one they anointed as Clark's heir and force-fed to fans as the golden savior of women's basketball, just got humbled brutally, publicly and completely by the Seattle Storm. And make no mistake, this wasn't just a stumble, this wasn't a rookie moment. This was an exposure clinic, the kind of game that rips the gloss off hype and shows you exactly who's built for this league and who's just been protected by media smoke and mirrors. For months, we've been drowned with the narrative, Paige is smarter, Paige is smoother. Paige is already better than Clark. They told us she was the inevitable torchbearer, spoon-feeding the same PR lines like gospel. But the second she faced real, physical, Clark-level defense, she collapsed. She went from a fake coronation after her 44-point Sparks game to a complete implosion. Against Seattle 11 total points, to 4-11 shooting, 0 assists, to lonely rebounds. That's not superstar basketball. That's a player exposed when the game plan actually targeted her. And here's the brutal truth: Caitlin Clark has been living under that same treatment every single night for over a year, absorbing elbows, doubles, blitzes, full-court presses, and still torching defenses from 28 feet while dragging the Indiana Fever into packed arenas. Paige Bueckers got one night of that reality and folded like a paper doll. Seattle's coach even said it before tip-off: we're giving her the Caitlin Clark treatment. And the result? Paige looked rattled, hesitant, lost, while Clark has made a career out of thriving in that chaos. The media can pump her percentages all they want, but the truth is simple. Paige's pretty numbers were built on soft coverage and wide-open looks, while Clark has taken the hardest shots in the game under the most physical defense in the league. When reality finally hit Paige, the hype disintegrated in real time. And now, the question isn't, is Paige the next Caitlin? The real question is, can Paige even survive the Caitlin Clark treatment? Because if last night was any preview, the answer is no, and the so-called savior of women's basketball just got exposed as a media manufactured delusion.
In the form of Clark, and her bank shot stays down. He's had an MVP.
It's different out here when you finally face the truth, when you finally taste the reality of what it means to step into Caitlin Clark's world. Because once you're given even a glimpse of that treatment, everything changes, everything gets stripped bare, and all the media hype in the world can't save you, can't cushion you, can't shield you from what's real. And Paige Bueckers just found that out the hard way, live in front of the entire country. Her mask ripped off, her crown snatched away before she ever truly earned it, her so-called coronation collapsing under the weight of one night of WNBA-level pressure defense, one night of the Caitlin Clark treatment, and she folded like a paper doll caught in a storm. Because make no mistake, what the Seattle Storm did to Paige Bueckers wasn't just another basketball game. It was an exposure clinic, a complete demolition of the media-manufactured narrative that has been shoved down our throats. For months, that Paige Bueckers is the next Caitlin Clark, that she's smoother, smarter, more efficient, more poised, that she's already the heir to the throne Clark built with her sweat, her fire, her relentless drive, and her ability to survive the most brutal treatment any WNBA rookie has ever endured. And yet the second Bueckers faced even one game of that intensity, that physicality, that constant harassment, that full-court blitzing, she disintegrated, posting an embarrassing 11 points on 2-for-11 shooting, 0 assists, and just 2 rebounds. Her stat line reading not like a future superstar, but like a role player lost on the court, stripped of her shine, stripped of her illusions, stripped of everything that made the ESPN machine scream her name like gospel. And this is the point where the line between hype and history becomes undeniable, because Caitlin Clark has been living in that storm since the day she stepped foot in the league. She has been doubled, tripled, blitzed, hacked, fouled, elbowed, targeted more than any other player in the game. And yet she has not only survived, she has thrived, dropping dimes from 30 feet, torching defenders who were sent in waves, dragging a bottom feeder Indiana Fever franchise back into relevance, filling arenas, smashing viewership records, generating unprecedented merchandise sales, and literally transforming the WNBA into a national talking point, while Paige Bueckers was being gently ushered into the league on a velvet runway, handed open mid-range looks, handed soft coverage, handed manufactured storylines that she was already better, already more efficient, already more polished, when in reality she was being shielded, coddled, protected from the furnace Clark walked straight into without hesitation, without excuse, without complaint. And when Seattle finally decided to flip the switch and guard her like Clark, to trap her, to body her, to send multiple defenders, to hit her at every angle, the illusion collapsed instantly, because greatness cannot be faked. It cannot be manufactured in a boardroom at ESPN. It cannot be scripted by analysts desperate to force a rivalry. It must be earned in fire, earned in blood, earned in bruises, and by surviving the kind of physical punishment that makes NFL linebackers nod in approval. And Caitlin Clark has done exactly that, while Paige Bueckers couldn't last one night. And that is the story that matters, because the media can shove percentages down our throats. They can scream about Paige's pretty 47% shooting clip. They can highlight her scoring 44 points against the Sparks on 80% shooting. But context matters, defense matters, and reality matters, because Clark's 41% rookie year wasn't built on wide-open jumpers and baby-soft coverage. It was built on contested third-of-foot threes. It was built on absorbing hits and still finishing. It was built on relentless double teams designed to humiliate her, and yet she elevated her team, her league, her sport, while Paige's efficiency crumbled the second anyone dared to defend her like a star. And that's why Seattle didn't just hand Bueckers a bad game. They handed the WNBA and the world the truth. The unfiltered truth that Paige Bueckers isn't Clark's heir. She isn't her equal. She isn't even in the same galaxy right now, because there is only one Caitlin Clark. And what the league and the media tried to sell was nothing more than a cheap imitation, a knockoff brand in shiny packaging, a hoax that finally got ripped open on August 22nd, 2025. The night the Paige Bueckers experiment died in real time before our eyes. And now the excuses roll in, her defenders scrambling, crying about her ACL, recovery, crying about rust, crying about rhythm. But those excuses don't hold water, because Clark never got those luxuries, never got those training wheels, never got the velvet gloves treatment. She was thrown to the wolves on day one and told to sink or swim. And not only did she swim, she became a tidal wave that changed the entire landscape, while Paige got a safety net and still tripped over it the second it was taken away. And if you really want the raw stats, the ones that the hype machine conveniently ignores, here they are. Caitlin Clark, as a rookie, put up 19 points, 8.4 assists, 7 rebounds, under the heaviest defensive focus in league history, absorbing more flagrant fouls than any player in the game. By far 17% of the entire league's flagrant fouls committed against one player in one season. Targeted, hacked, bullied, and yet still producing magic every single night, while Paige Bueckers floats with 19.7 points, 3 assists for 1 rebounds. Numbers that look similar on paper but collapse under context. Because Paige wasn't getting mugged on every drive. Paige wasn't getting elbows to the ribs on every screen. Paige wasn't getting hunted as public enemy number 1. She was coasting on kid glove treatment until the Storm flipped the switch. And the second they did, her polished veneer shattered to makes on 11 attempts, 0 assists. An invisible presence on the floor, a supposed savior reduced to an afterthought. And here's the reality. Seattle just handed every other team in the league the blueprint. They showed how to suffocate Bueckers, how to strip away the illusion, how to expose her limitations, and from now on, defenses will copy it, defenses will replicate it. And the Paige Bueckers narrative will only get uglier. Because greatness isn't built on soft coverage, it's built on surviving the fire. And Paige Bueckers has shown she can't handle it. She gave up the ball, she passed out of blitzes, and she never looked to get it back. She just gave up, mentally checked out. While Clark takes that same pressure every night and turns it into fuel, into daggers from deep, into highlight passes that ignite crowds, into resilience that defines legends, and that's why the comparison is dead. That's why the Paige Bueckers hype train has derailed. And that's why the fans see through it now, because they're not buying the hoax anymore. They're not buying the fake narrative. They're not buying the glossy highlight reels. They're buying Caitlin Clark. They're investing in the real thing. The generational talent who elevated an entire league, who sells out arenas, who secured national TV deals, who moved the needle in ways Paige Bueckers never could. Because Paige can't even sell out her own home games, can't even lift her Dallas Wings out of irrelevance, finishing 9-28. A dead season that exposed her not as a savior, but as a stat-padding placeholder, while Clark dragged the fever from the basement to playoff contention, from forgotten to must-watch, from empty seats to record-breaking crowds. And the fact that the media ever tried to push Paige as Clark's equal is not only insulting, it's embarrassing, it's disrespectful to the fans who know better, disrespectful to the game that deserves authenticity, not manufactured storylines. Because you cannot manufacture greatness, you cannot manufacture Serena Williams, you cannot manufacture Tiger Woods, you cannot manufacture LeBron James, and you sure as hell cannot manufacture Caitlin Clark. She's real, she is transcendent, she is once in a generation, maybe once in a lifetime. And pretending that Paige Bueckers is anywhere close is laughable, it's fraudulent, it's insulting. And Seattle ripped that fraud wide open for the world to see, proving once and for all that there is Caitlin Clark, and then there is everyone else. And Paige Bueckers just joined the long list of players who crumbled under Clark's shadow. Another name written in the margins of Clark's history book. Because Caitlin Clark isn't just writing stats, she's writing legacy. She's writing the future of women's basketball, and Paige Bueckers, she's just another